Hi there, and welcome back to the Lisa Nichols Show. Here we have candid conversations about the real deal. We have candid conversations about life, how to navigate it, how to choose, how to unchoose, how to fly, how to soar, and how to get back up. So many things have changed over the last 2 years. So many unexpecteds. So many trials, tribulations. Um, Things have come into our space that we did not invite, we did not want, and yet we had to learn how to navigate. And so I ask you, what did you have to let go when the pandemic started? What did you have to release when the pandemic started? Did you have to release a job? Did you have to release the way you looked at things, the way you went to work, your relationship? What did you have to release during the pandemic when it started that you didn't like doing in the first place, though? See, here's the deal. We've had to release so many things, but some of the things that we've had to release, we didn't even like it in the first place. And you might be considering going back to it because it's what you're used to doing. I got to tell you, a familiar discomfort, many times we become more committed to a familiar discomfort than we will be to an unfamiliar new possibility. I'll say that again. Many times we are more committed to a familiar discomfort than we are to an unfamiliar new possibility. Why? Because it's familiar. So I ask you, what limiting habits, beliefs, or environment, relationship, etc., that you're considering going back to that you didn't want to in the first place? You didn't want to do it. You were done with it. There were so many things that were beautiful in my life, but I was done with it. Even though it was beautiful for someone else. I traveled over 280 days out of the year for the last 10 years. Traveled first class, red carpet rolled out wherever I go. It was amazing. And the pandemic came, and I had to stay at home. And I had to go to work in my office at home in these. Oh, I tell you, I got them in every color now. Because what I'm clear on is that I want to travel the world. I want to inspire people all around the world. But I don't have to do it all on a plane and in a hotel and dealing with being alone. So I want to invite you. I want to invite you to say, I'm here, and I say, no, I'm not going back to that thing that I didn't want in the first place. Or I wanted it at one time, but I outgrew it. Do you realize that there are some things that you were doing 10 years ago that you've outgrown now? There's some things you were doing 5 years ago that you've outgrown now. And if it doesn't feel good in this moment, it's probably because you've outgrown it. Give yourself permission to graduate. Matter of fact, I want you to throw yourself a graduation. You don't have to have a whole big shindig with the signs outside saying graduate here, but you can make yourself a cupcake. You can give someone notice. You can get a group in WhatsApp and say, I graduate myself. You can gather the family around the dining room table and say, I graduate myself. I graduate myself from having to cook 5 days a week. I graduate myself from being everyone's answer. I graduate myself from hustling and grinding more than I'm pouring into myself. I graduate myself from putting other people in front of me. Anybody know what I'm talking about? I'm just saying. My camera crew can raise their hand too. I mean, they're in the back. They're behind the camera raising their hand. I graduate. I graduate. I graduate myself from being worried about money all the time and putting my passion on the shelf. I graduate. I don't quite have the strategy for what's next, but first I have to graduate to remind myself that I'm beyond this moment. Remember, this show is not just a monologue, it's a dialogue. I'd love to hear from you. What are you ready to graduate yourself from? What are you saying? I ain't going back. I ain't going back. Listen, everyone keeps saying, I just want things to get back to the way they used to be. In some areas, no. Do a lot of things, but don't get back to the way it used to be. I want to get forward to the way that it can be. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect immediately. This is not a rah-rah or foo-foo conversation. But I am saying we get to create. We might as well create. All bets are off. All deals are off. Nothing's the same right now. This is the perfect season to create what you want. I want to hear a comment from you. What are you ready to recreate the way you want, on your terms, by your design? What is that? Leave me a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting on? Hello, you know you love this conversation. We're committed in this community to upward mobility. We're committed to finding out what are we ready to release and what are we ready to hold on to. And I want to hear your comments. After all, this is your home, and we are your tribe. And I am your sister in prosperity and in possibility. And every time you come back, I'm going to say welcome home. And I'm going to let you know that I believe in you and that I love you, because I do. I'll see you real soon. Talk to me.